Manipulation. You must have probably heard about manipulative techniques, or manipulation, and generally, whenever this word comes up, we tend to perceive it in a negative sense. One reason for this perception is that only about 5% of people worldwide truly understand manipulation techniques and know how to use them. Out of this 5% people, using this positively are some of the most successful people on the globe. Manipulation techniques are just tools. It depends on the user's intention and how they are using them. There are two sides to every coin, and one aspect is that if we understand these techniques, we can protect ourselves from manipulation. If you want to learn manipulative techniques and understand them, it's clear that by correcting your intentions, you can also use them positively and be successful in your life. Although there are several parts of dark psychology, we will be discussing today the most important aspects of manipulation. Our topics today will be gaslighting, guilt-tripping, emotional manipulation, isolation, and love bombing. So, gaslighting word became popular from a movie in 1940. It can be described as conscious intent to brainwash. Gaslighting is a learned trait. Studies have shown that gaslighting is more prevalent in couples where one or both partners have maladaptive personality traits. They witness it, experience it themselves, or stumble upon it, and see that it works. But this is not only limited to couples. One of the most widely used gaslighting techniques is at workplace. When a new employee joins, the other old employees try to gaslight them by convincing that they have joined a wrong place or at lesser pay. "Oh, if I would have been at your age with such a qualification, I would have bargained much higher salary. There is no scope here to grow. I am also finding a new job now. What brings you here? You seem to be well qualified. How come you made such a mistake?" It is important for us to understand what people we should never be with, especially when it is about your career. You must make sure that no one is using you or manipulating you for their benefits. Based on a book, The Art of Manipulation by R.B. Sparkman, here are 8 character types to watch out for. Protesters, individuals who overly emphasize their honesty or trustworthiness. Warning sign. When someone stresses something too much, it may indicate they are attempting to hide deception. Smooth talkers, liars who try to reassure you in an overly demonstrative way. Uncomfortable about their lies, they overcompensate for the lack of substance in their statements. Deal promisers, people who repeatedly emphasize the benefits you stand to gain from a deal. Caution, if someone excessively talks about your potential gains, they might have their own interests at heart. Trust reminders, individuals who repeatedly assure you of their trustworthiness. Warning, trustworthy people don't need to remind you constantly. Such reminders may indicate an attempt to manipulate. Consistent storytellers, trustworthiness, evaluated by listening to the consistency of a person's repeated stories. Red flag, inconsistent stories may indicate dishonesty and unreliability. Riches to rags, storytellers, people who claim to have once been wealthy but lost it all. Caution, such stories are often used by con artists to gain confidence. Detail-oriented incompetence, individuals who focus on minor details instead of addressing crucial issues. Warning, emphasizing non-essential details can signal incompetence and potential failure. Let's move on to the next technique, guilt tripping. It's a way for manipulators to exert control over their victims by making them feel guilty. Let me make one thing clear. Not all people using any of the manipulation technique do it learning it. Some do it casually without even knowing what they are up to. I am sure every one of you must have gone through guilt trip by your mother or in some case by your father too. This is also used a lot by politicians worldwide. In day-to-day life, it is majorly observed as a defense mechanism. Some people, when fear about being caught for their wrongdoing, deploy guilt-tripping techniques to avoid taking the responsibility of their actions or to avoid facing consequences. Moving on, the next on list is emotional manipulation. Targeting a person's emotion, vulnerabilities, and insecurities attributes to easy emotional manipulation. Such a manipulation can only be done by a person whom we are very close to. We all know what emotional blackmail is. There are different kinds of emotions that one can make us feel to manipulate us. I was working in a small company, and I remember whenever my boss said, "You are the person I can trust," or started praising me out of nowhere, I immediately sensed there is something to follow up as a new assignment for me. Later on, whenever I sensed something similar, I immediately started complaining. On one occasion, I mentioned that I was not happy with my performance and want to improve, but I have some other engagements holding me back. I indicated that the engagements can be solved by money, and I got immediate hike in my salary. At the same company, there were two people working at the same position in IT department. Once the boss was shouted on both because of some negligence related to their department. One of the persons manipulated other, convincing him that he especially shouted at you, and I would have resigned if I were at your place. We then had only one person in IT department. Ali Soufan, a former FBI special agent, used a simple yet fantastic technique while interrogation of Abu Zubaydah, a key Al-Qaeda suspect, shortly after the 9/11 attacks. With his clever action, he was successful to get some very vital information during his interrogation. The FBI agent saw the suspect never touched the tea or the biscuits served to him. He immediately studied his medical reports and found that he was diabetic. He rushed to get him sugar-free tea and snacks. His such kindness turned the suspect favoring him with all the information he had. When you get something, more than what you think you deserve, or even when you have never expected it, results are always going to be awesome. Last is isolation, a manipulation by deliberately creating a state of separation, cut off or detached from others or the surrounding environment. Imagine a situation with lack of social interaction, support or connection with people or the community. Anyone can be broken. Isolation can occur on multiple levels, including physical, social, and emotional isolation. It is also a stepping stone to brainwash someone. Isolation is very old and harsh technique to manipulate anyone. Imagine if you are surrounded by a group of people whom you never want to be with, and you resist their techniques to manipulate you. They are definitely going to isolate you. If you have no option left to spare your time or be social with, it is advisable to be as a moron in such group rather than fighting with them. We all are social animal and never ever think of being alone. We need human at many levels in our life. Though I myself is an introvert, but I keep a warm relation with everyone I meet. Can you believe that we can be manipulated by being loved? Yes. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic often employed by individuals in the context of romantic relationship or cult-like groups. In this technique, the person being targeted is being bombed with love and affection. Some lover boys use love bombing as a technique to hunt their prey. What generally happens is, a girl is being chased by a guy regularly, taken care of, being always pampered, literally spoiled, and may even be gifted by. And then the guy disappears suddenly. It's highly possible that the girl will be in a state of vacuum with her emotions, and she would not even understand what she is lacking, and now she can go to any extent to get that soft corner from the lover boy. Boom, mission successful.